Hi, everyone. Josh Rugger here in studio this morning. We got a very important weather update for you right now. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings that are impacting our weather coverage area at this time. Wanted to provide a live update for you. Of course, we got Good Day NWA recording in the background. Need to keep an eye on some of these thunderstorms, though, because some of them do have that look of being considerable or even destructive as they push along the Interstate 40 corridor early this morning. So we're going to take a look at this right now on High Koi Mega Doppler. Now, I will say this. If you watched our morning shows, you do know that the majority of the severe weather potential is out of northwest Arkansas at this point. So if you're watching from Bentonville, if you're watching from Fayetteville, Huntsville, Harrison, anywhere in northwest Arkansas along and north of the Bobby Hopper Tunnel, the severe weather threat's over. It's just plain old rain at this point. We have seen some pretty significant impacts from that rain in terms of travel. But if you live in northwest Arkansas, the severe weather potential is over. It's just going to be plain old regular rain. There could be a few lightning strikes. It could get a little bit loud here and there, but otherwise, the severe weather threat is over for northwest Arkansas. The River Valley, that's a bit of a different story. These storms are starting to intensify as they progress off to the south and east, especially near Fort Smith and Sallisaw right now. In fact, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable tag attached to it for portions of Sequoyah County, as well as far northern LaFleur County. You can also see southern Adair County included in that near the Greasy area. But again, this severe thunderstorm warning will be allowed to expire at 9 o'clock a.m. The reason why it has a considerable tag attached to it is because there could be damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. Now, just off to the west of that thunderstorm, there's a severe thunderstorm warning with a destructive tag attached to it. This does not include our weather coverage area, but this destructive tag is for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. You can see 80 to 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this particular severe thunderstorm. Again, that's just off to the west of our weather coverage area, but it could start pushing into portions of LaFleur County along the Interstate 40 corridor within the next hour or so. These storms are moving through very quickly. They're moving through at about 55 miles per hour, and they could cause some issues this morning on the interstates in the River Valley as well. So a lot of the impacts that we saw in northwest Arkansas earlier this morning, that could be the River Valley later on in the day. So we're watching this very closely right now, watching for a shelf cloud feature. We're going to go to Weather 1 right here and take a look at that thunderstorm right now that's rolling into Fort Smith. You can kind of see the base of the thunderstorm in the distance there. It's going to become a little bit more defined, but I'll tell you what, we got an amazing view of that shelf cloud as it moved through Fayetteville earlier this morning. We actually got that on air. I think we saw some power flashes on air, too, from some damaging winds that happened in Fayetteville. We could actually see that. I didn't quite know what it was, but looking back, looking at some of the reports that we're getting in, looking at all the power outages that are starting to occur in northwest Arkansas, I do think there was some power flashes in Fayetteville caused by some damaging wind gusts. So if you got any reports of power outages, let me know. We're going to take a look at that in just a minute, but I want to know if anybody is dealing with those power outages in northwest Arkansas right now. And, of course, the River Valley could have these same impacts as that line of storm starts to push through. But right now, based on the direction of the line, may miss Fort Smith just off to the west, but it's going to be cutting it very close. So if you live in the Fort Smith area, get ready because things are about to get loud in Fort Smith in just a few moments. Let's take a look at that Miss Laura's Weatherbug Network camera. That one has a little bit more features showing up there with that thunderstorm as it rolls in right now. But still a little bit too far away to kind of see that shelf cloud feature right now. But starting to become more prominent. Let's take a look at that Mount Magazine camera. Not showing a whole lot there right now. I do anticipate those storms moving towards Mount Magazine within the next hour or so. So we're going to stay on this weather live stream as long as this severe thunderstorm is impacting our area. And I do think it will be sticking around through about 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning. So we might be on here for the long run. We're going to get you through this. We're going to let you know about all these thunderstorms as they push through. But as of right now, the most intense thunderstorms are located in Sequoyah County near Sallisaw right now with that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go ahead and take a look at live Doppler radar here. We're going to make a storm track on some of these thunderstorms that are moving through. Again, there's that severe thunderstorm warning right there just off to the west of Fort Smith in Sallisaw. These storms were moving off to the south and east at about 55 miles per hour. It looks like they've slowed down just a little bit, which makes sense. So we're going to make a little storm track on this. Again, these are moving off to the south and east. So we're going to kind of make a nice little line there, push that off to the south and east. So again, if you live in Fort Smith within the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, you're going to be seeing this thunderstorm impact your area at right around 8:42 a.m. Greenwood at 9:05 a.m. Poteau and LaFleur County. Poteau you really need to be keeping an eye on this thunderstorm. It does look like that severe thunderstorm warning is going to be extended into Poto, and it likely will have that considerable tag attached to it. So 9:20 a.m., in less than an hour, we're expecting the severe thunderstorm to impact portions of Poto. And again, when you have these severe thunderstorm warnings that have these tags attached to them, whether that be considerable or destructive, it means that there is a considerable threat to life and property. So if you live in these areas, you need to make sure you're taking shelter, first of all, have a safe place, and then also make sure that you're staying away from windows and taking those proper precautions, because these thunderstorms could pack quite a punch as they push into LaFleur and Sebastian County. So starting to get some comments in now. One thing that I see right off the bat here is talking about potential rotation with these thunderstorms. And I'll tell you up front, there was not any tornadic activity with these storms as they moved through northwest Arkansas. Now, we had a lot of scud. We did have what kind of appeared to be maybe what looked like a funnel cloud, but that's what we call a scary-looking cloud. These scud clouds, they have the appearance of funnel clouds. They're not actually rotating. They're scattered cumulus under deck. They're a sign that there's rising motion within the storm and that it's quite intense. But all we saw in northwest Arkansas was damaging wind gusts. So starting to get some reports of power outages in Fayetteville right now. Starting to see the power actually come back on in Fayetteville. So that's good news right there. Thank you so much, Susan, for that report. Tiffany says we have poles down in Pea Ridge. So Tiffany, let me know where you're located in Pea Ridge, because I live near the Pea Ridge area and I do want to assess that damage and everything. So let me know where you are, because I do want to kind of look at this damage and see what went down there. So thank you for that report out of Pea Ridge. Alex says they had a tree fall in his house. Oh, Alex, I'm very, very sorry to hear about that. It got snapped in half like a twig. So yeah, very strong winds. Are you, where you live, Alex? Do you live in Springdale, Bentonville? Where are you located? Man, I'm really sorry to hear about that. That's rough right there. You know, these trees too. We had so much tree damage from those storms that impacted our area a month ago. This is the 1 month anniversary of the May 26th event that had all those significant tornadoes here in northwest Arkansas. And unfortunately, we're dealing with more severe weather this morning in a lot of the same areas that were already impacted by significant tree damage. So, man, Alex, I'm really sorry to hear about that report there. That tree fall in your house. So you say you live in the Berryville area. Man, so you were on the eastern edge of that storm. Those winds must have just been rolling on through there in Berryville too. This was a pretty extensive area of strong winds. So Berryville even seeing some tree damage as well. I did see a lot of reports of power outages as well. Alex, is your power out there in Berryville, up there in Carroll County? Just want to make sure we're kind of piecing together the puzzle of the storm this morning, because these storms can just ramp up really quickly. There wasn't any severe thunderstorm warnings in our weather coverage area when these storms were rolling through, but they looked pretty impressive on radar, and that was an impressive shelf cloud feature that moved through northwest Arkansas earlier this morning. And we got that all recorded, so you're probably going to be seeing that later on today on social media. So power is on where you're at. That's good to hear, Alex. I'm going to try and pull up poweroutage.us right now so we can take a look at that current situation. So it looks like there's several folks without power in Washington County right now. I'm going to go ahead and show this real quick. I see there's some more comments coming in. I'm going to get to everybody's comment. I just want to make sure everybody knows about the current power outage situation. So we're going to go ahead and share the screen here. We're going to take a look at that right now. Let me make sure that's sharing. I'm going to move this out of the way here. Hold on just 1 second. Stand by. There we go. And let's take a look at that, because there is several folks without power in Washington County. 3,576 without power in Washington County as of 8:25 a.m. Looks like the majority of that is with Southwestern Electric Power Company, 3,181 without power there. Ozarks Electric Cooperative reporting 394 without power, and one person has power out from OG&E Energy Corporation. So hopefully power can be restored very quickly, because it still is going to be hot this afternoon. It's not going to be as hot as the last several days, but we don't want to see power out for an extended period of time. So hopefully that gets fixed very quickly there in Washington County. Benton County has 671 without power as of 8:25 a.m. Looks like Southwest Electric reporting 221 without power. Carroll Electric Cooperative reporting 447 without power. and there's 3 folks without power from Bentonville Light and Water System. So that's the current situation there in Benton County. Looks like the situation's improved in Carroll County, still 36 without power from Carroll Electric Cooperative and 24 without power from Southwestern Electric Power Company. So that's the current power outage situation there in Carroll County. So hopefully power can be restored very quickly. I know a lot of folks already in Washington County reporting that the power is back on again, so that's good to hear. And we'll be keeping a close eye on that as we go throughout the rest of the morning hours. All right, let's take a look at some more comments here. I'm going to go back to Mega Doppler so everybody can see what's going on there. We're going to take a quick look at Mega Doppler, and then I want to see what's going on over the Fort Smith cameras. But still got that severe thunderstorm warning in effect over Sallisaw. Again, no areas of rotation that are showing up, at least in our weather coverage area now. It's a little bit more suspicious northwest of Eufaula, which makes sense. This is where the most intense part of the line is. But right now, nothing that shows anything tornadic at this time. Just very strong winds, and these winds can cause just as much damage as tornadoes in a much more extensive area as well. So that's a current look at Mega Doppler. I'm going to go back to Weather 1 here. We're going to take a look at our Fort Smith cameras, and here it is, folks. This is what I was talking about. Here's that shelf cloud feature starting to roll in, and we're going to get an amazing view of this within the next 15 minutes or so. But look at that off in the distance. You can see that shelf cloud feature right there. And again, shelf clouds do look very threatening, and they are threatening because they are a sign that you've got strong winds that are moving through. But with these kind of thunderstorms, because we don't have a whole lot of low-level wind shear because the jet stream energy is displaced to the north, you typically don't see a whole lot of tornadic potential unless these storms have favorable interactions and we have a little bit more of what we call 0 to 3 kilometer instability or CAPE. If these storms can tap into that, then you can get tornado potential even if the jet stream energy is displaced to the north. But we don't have that this morning, which is why there's not a whole lot of tornado potential right now. But you can see even some scud showing up there. That's that scattered cumulus under deck I was just talking about. That's that rising motion. And that's what appears to be an area that's rotating, but it's actually not. So we're good on that front. So that's the Fort Smith Public Library camera. And let's look at the Miss Laura's camera real quick. I really hope it loads. There you go. That's a good view of the shelf cloud right there. It is rolling in fast. Look how quickly that's moving in. This camera is a little bit jittery, but you can even see how quickly it's moving over this camera. So we're going to keep an eye on this one for a little while here. So it's already moved over Siloam. So again, Northwest Arkansas, everybody in Northwest Arkansas is clear from severe weather potential. Bentonville, Fayetteville, Rogers, Fayetteville. I probably already said Fayetteville. Siloam Springs, Berryville, Harrison, Huntsville, St. Paul. All those areas, you're good. Everybody's in the clear in Northwest Arkansas, Southwest Missouri. You're fine. Michael, you're good. We'll be traveling in Northwest Arkansas from Southeast Oklahoma this afternoon. Any serious storms anticipated to develop. So where are you at, Michael? Where are you at in Southeast Oklahoma, first of all? And second of all, kind of just answering your question, I think that if you kind of give it a little bit of time, you should be fine. These storms are moving through very quickly. So depending on where you are in southeastern Oklahoma, that's going to really determine when you need to leave and when it's going to be safe to leave. Okay, you said Idabel. So that's a little bit more up in the air because those storms are still a couple of hours out from you. So it should be moving through the Idabel area right around 10:40, 11 o'clock. So if you're leaving at 1, 2 o'clock, you said this afternoon, you should be fine. The severe weather potential is going to be out. You're probably going to run into some wet roadways. In terms of severe weather potential, that's going to be around 11 o'clock, I think, in Idabel. Maybe a little bit earlier, but around that time. So if you leave during the afternoon, you should be fine. Because after these storms move through the river valley, we're going to be good to go here in Northwest Arkansas. So that's what we're rocking with there. And absolutely, Michael, anytime. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. That's why we're on right now. We just want to make sure everybody's just staying aware. But yeah, there's some thunder. And there's going to be some thunder that's moving through Northwest Arkansas. But again, Bobby Hopper Tunnel area, along and north of there, the severe weather threat's over. It's the river valley that needs to keep an eye on these storms right now. And that's where all the severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect at this time. So we're just watching this shelf cloud feature right now over the Miss Laura's camera. Let's go back to the public library camera, and here we go. Now you're starting to see it move in across the screen there again. Just these storms, they ramp up really quickly, and we saw that over Northwest Arkansas. Didn't have any severe thunderstorm warnings, but definitely some damage getting reported. Unfortunately, we had Alex that reported a tree on his house. We had another person say that there was poles that were down in Pea Ridge. Tiffany said that earlier. Power outages as well in Northwest Arkansas. So these storms, they ramped up over NWA. Didn't have any severe thunderstorm warnings, but still caused some damage. So hopefully everybody's okay. Again, the power outage situation, hopefully that improves as well later on this afternoon. But just going to keep a close eye on these storms because you never know. Sometimes these storms can cause some issues and ramp up very quickly. We're seeing that in the River Valley right now with that considerable severe thunderstorm warning in Sequoia, as well as northern LaFleur County. But at least in terms of the River Valley right now in the Arkansas portion of our weather coverage area, no severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. So hopefully that continues. Hopefully these storms can wind down as well. But I'm telling you, if you live in LaFleur County near Poto, you need to keep an eye on this storm because this thing right here is lining up. So this storm is lining up with Poto. I am anticipating that this severe thunderstorm warning will be continued. So if you live in Poto within the next 30 to 45 minutes or so, that's when things are really going to start getting a little bit hairy there. But here comes the rain starting to fall over our Fort Smith camera. We're going to keep an eye on this because I'm interested to see if there's any of those horizontal rain curtain features. I actually saw that. I took a video of it and posted that on Twitter. And that was a pretty cool little feature there that was moving across Dixon Street. We did lose some couch cushions, so we did have some victims here at KNWA in terms of those couch cushions. So if you're driving along Dixon Street and you see some couch cushions, that's ours here at KNWA. So sorry about that. That was caused by all the wind that moved through. Yeah, Henry, no kidding. There was a bunch of wrecks earlier this morning. You know, speaking of which, looks like the traffic situation has improved. I want to look at iDrive Arkansas real quick and see if there's any more accidents. Oh, yeah, there is. So we probably should show these. Stand by for just a second. I might sound a little distant, but that's because I am adjusting some cameras. I'm also by myself in studio right now, so it takes a little bit more work to kind of go back and forth between the computers. So just bear with me for just a minute. I'm going to pull up one of these iDrive Arkansas cameras and see what's going on here. But it looks like there is quite a few accidents that are going on right now along Interstate 49. And yep, here we go. Hydroplaning, folks. Hydroplaning. This is what we're talking about. I'm going to go right back to this Fort Smith camera in just a minute. But look at this. There's got this person on the side of the road right now. I-49 southbound. You got this person who's on the side of the road there. So this is going to be a little bit closer to Pinnacle Parkway as well. So, folks, just make sure you're taking it nice and easy this morning. It's still going to be wet on the roadways in Northwest Arkansas. Again, the severe weather potential's over in Northwest Arkansas. Okay, I see a comment from Ava. Ava, please give me just 1 second here. I see all caps there too. So you definitely want to know what's going on in Russellville. And I can tell you right now in Russellville that there's no tornado potential. I don't know why sirens are going off in Russellville, but I'm going to go here to our Mega Doppler image here. And again, there's a thunderstorm that's moving through Russellville. It's not severe. It could cause some gusty winds. Again, I don't know why there's sirens going on in Russellville right now, but there's no tornado potential. I can show you here on velocity that we're good. It's just strong winds that are moving through. Storms are below severe limits right now. So you're all good there in Russellville. I promise you. It's just a strong thunderstorm right now that could produce some gusty winds and some small hail. We'll keep an eye on it. But I'm just puzzled right now, perplexed as to why there are sirens going off in Russellville at this time. Because there's nothing that's going on there that's even remotely close to tornado potential. And absolutely, Ava, anytime. Thank you for that report of sirens that were going on in Russellville, because that's just crazy to me right now, because that storm is not causing any issues right now in Russellville. Again, there could be some small hail with that storm. I'm going to look at that on Mega Doppler off screen, but and nothing major going on there. There will be some additional thunderstorms though, so get ready because there is some more storms on the way there in portions of Russellville. But we're going to keep an eye on this Fort Smith storm right now. I know there's other storms that are going on in Northwest Arkansas, but again, these are not anything major in Bentonville or Fayetteville. The severe weather potential is over. It's just plain old rain that you still need to be careful of if you're driving on the interstates and highways, as we just saw. But in terms of severe weather potential, that is currently located over the river valley right now. We're starting to get reports from folks, TJ, saying that there's heavy winds in Fort Smith, probably 50 miles per hour. So you're going to see over this camera in just a minute those winds pick up. So we're going to keep it on this camera and this Miss Laura's camera, but definitely some very heavy rain that's going to be moving along Interstate 40 and Interstate 540 within the next few moments. Now, Fort Smith, there is no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, but it's on the border right now. And we need to keep an eye on these very closely right now. I'm looking at them on radar. Again, no tornado potential right now. This is just going to be very strong winds. But if you live in Fort Smith, you're getting impacted by that right now. Barling, going to have some strong winds within the next few moments. Hackett, Greenwood, you guys need to be getting ready because those storms are knocking on your doorstep. Charleston, a little bit farther east of Fort Smith as well, along State Highway 22. So here we go. Storms are really ramping up. Brian says these storms are intensifying in Fort Smith and east of Fort Smith. The SPC did highlight that. Of course, we do have that severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect, Brian, right now through 11 o'clock a.m. in the River Valley. So good mention right there from the Storm Prediction Center. Speaking of which, I do believe the severe thunderstorm watch has been allowed to expire in Northwest Arkansas. So no more severe thunderstorm watches for Northwest Arkansas. So if you're worried about severe weather potential, we don't even have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Northwest Arkansas at this point. So that kind of proves that the severe weather threat's over for NWA. But here we go. The winds are about to pick up over our public library camera. Look at that in the distance right now. That shelf cloud has just moved overhead, and the camera's starting to shake, and the winds are starting to blow. And this is that leading edge of the line that's starting to move into Fort Smith. And a lot of folks already reporting that around the Fort Smith area, and we're about to see it over the Fort Smith Public Library camera. Squirrels running from the rain, they rang the bell. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because those squirrels, my dad and I really like to keep an eye on them, especially at his house with the bird feed. They really like to get that bird feed. So when they're running away from that, or they're running away from a storm, it's getting intense. So that's pretty funny right there. So Dwayne says no sirens in Russellville. So looks like maybe a neighborhood had the sirens on or something like that right now. But that's what Ava reported in Russellville. But I can assure you the storms in Russellville are not severe. They are strong. They're probably going to produce some gusty winds, but at this time they are below severe limits in Russellville. So Thresha says it's just a baby thunderstorm. And Thresha, some of the storms are baby thunderstorms, like the ones that are a little bit farther east. But at this time, the ones that are moving through the River Valley are not baby thunderstorms. These are ones that could cause some issues. And matter of fact, right on cue, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that was just now issued south of Fort Smith in the Greenwood area. So Greenwood, Poto, Hartford, Heavener, McCurtain, those areas, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning. So I don't want to move away from this camera quite yet. I want to show the severe thunderstorm warning, but check this out. Got the horizontal rain curtains moving in right now. So look at this. This is what we were seeing in Fayetteville earlier as that shelf cloud moved through. You see these curtains of rain that are moving through right now? Those are those horizontal rain curtains, and that's those strong winds that are picking up right now. So here we go. Those winds are picking up now over our Fort Smith Public Library camera. So, oh boy. Very strong winds moving through Fort Smith now. You can see a couple of leaves that were flying in the air there just a moment ago. So, wow. This is so cool to just watch happen live right here. And that's why we wanted to keep an eye on it. But we're gonna keep it on this camera as long as those winds are moving through, because It's pretty rare to see storms move through during the daytime and actually get a visual on them. Yeah, Susan, they're very strong right now. This storm is intensifying quite a bit as it moves off to the south and east, and already some folks reporting some issues in Fort Smith from those winds. So, the trees aren't really rustling all that much right now, but that could change in just a few moments as that storm and the backside of that storm moves through. But this is the leading edge of the line that's moving through our Fort Smith Public Library camera right now. So a lot of heavy rainfall, some strong winds, and this storm is moving off to the south and east right now at about 45 miles per hour. So that's a look at the Fort Smith Public Library camera. I want to get back to the live Doppler radar because I want to take a look at that severe thunderstorm warning that was just now issued and let you know about it. So there's that new severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to take out those outlines, and we're going to look at that real quick. Again, this does not include Fort Smith, but this does include Greenwood and Poto. And that severe thunderstorm warning will expire at 9:45 a.m., and that's for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and hail is below severe limits. But that does include Leflore County as well, Sequoia County, and just off to the south there towards Greenwood in Sebastian County as well. So that's what we're looking at right now with that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's just make sure the storm hasn't slowed down a little bit more. So it actually has slowed down a little bit more. So it's moving off to the southeast at 30 miles per hour. So that's an interesting trend right there. That's something to watch. I was a little concerned about these storms slowing down because that could cause maybe some localized flooding potential. So again, folks, be careful on the interstates and highways this morning. Don't want to see any more reports of hydroplaning. We've already had enough of that this morning here in Northwest Arkansas. I don't want to see that continue in the River Valley as well. So this is going to be a long storm track. I'm going to take this off to the south and east over the next couple of hours at 30 miles per hour. Of course, I just was talking about Poto, 9:38 a.m. If you live in Poto in Leflore County, got that severe thunderstorm that will be moving through within the next 30 to 45 minutes. Greenwood at 9:15 a.m., so it's knocking on your doorstep right now. Waldron at 10:12 a.m., Perryville at 10:31 a.m., 10:34 a.m. in Cherry Hill, and 10:55 a.m. in Big Cedar. So that's what we're looking at right now with that severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect. That's that storm track. Again, storms moving off to the south and east at about 30 miles per hour. No severe thunderstorm warnings with considerable tags attached to them anymore. We do have that one that's still located in Sequoia County, but the extension of the warning did drop that considerable tag. So that's a positive trend right there. Hopefully that continues. But again, just a pretty nasty line of showers and storms moving through the River Valley as we speak. And very heavy rainfall going on as well, just off to the north and west of Poto. Bacola about to get some strong winds. Spiro area, no, that's a hot spot for severe thunderstorms. Fort Coffee, Keota, Worcester, Heavener, Leflore. These areas right here need to be keeping an eye on these thunderstorms as they progress off to the south and east at this time. All right, I am at the GED Center in Fort Smith, and the winds are really picking up, and it's definitely downpouring. We needed this for sure. You know what? You're right about that, Thresher. We certainly needed the rain because we were getting pretty dry, especially in Northwest Arkansas. River Valley, of course, also starting to dry out quite a bit. So it's good to see some rain. And again, I'm really upset to hear about some of those reports of damage in Northwest Arkansas. I was hoping we could avoid that, but unfortunately, these storms ramp up really quickly. And even though it wasn't severe thunderstorm warned, it definitely caused some damage in Pea Ridge. Of course, Alex in Berryville just reported a tree down at his house. So if anybody else had some damage, let me know about it. And I want to just make sure we're covering all of our bases with the storm. And I might go assess that damage later on today just to make sure there wasn't anything suspicious that went on there. But I didn't see anything on radar that was tornadic. Again, I saw the storm as it was moving through Fayetteville. There wasn't any rotating wall clouds. There was some scattered cumulus under deck. There was some rising motion. Storms definitely looked threatening, but didn't cause a whole lot of problems of Fayetteville other than some cushions outside of our studio that got thrown around and pushed into Dixon Street. So in Mountain Home in a camper, is the worst behind us or more to come? So Crystal, you should be good to go in Mountain Home. I do think the majority of the thunderstorms are out of your area now. In fact, you're all clear, Mountain Home, Crystal. Just checked. you're good. No more significant severe weather expected for the next 48 hours or so. Look at our Fort Smith Public Library camera, though. Look at that rain go. Going in sideways right now. I think we need to get Ollie on the report. It's raining sideways right now over our Fort Smith Public Library camera. Wind knocked over my trash can. Other than that, looks to be calming down. That's good to hear, Amber. Glad to hear about that. But you did report that the power went out in London, Arkansas for 30 seconds. So kind of got some power that's flickering. We'll look at those power outages in just a few moments. Again, I wanted to give it a little bit of time to update. But the latest power outage situation that I saw had 3,000 without power in Fayetteville. So hopefully that has improved quite a bit. You know what? We have Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoffer just called me, so I'm going to try to give him a ring back, maybe see if he'll answer here. And maybe we'll have him on the live stream real quick here. So looks like Dan just answered. Dan, you're on a weather live stream right now, my man.
I figured you would be. How you doing, my man?
Oh, we're doing good. We're hanging in there. We're keeping an eye on our Fort Smith Public Library camera. As Ollie would say, it's raining sideways right now.
Yeah, my umbrella's 2 miles that way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was looking at some of the comments. Looks like there was some reports of some poles that were down in Pea Ridge. We had a viewer in Berryville say that a tree fell in his house. So it looked like some pretty significant winds moved through northwest Arkansas this morning. Wasn't any severe thunderstorm warnings that were issued for NWA, but they definitely ramped up right over us when they were moving through.
Well, it was a tough call. I went severe the night before, but I dropped it thinking that there might not be any warnings for our area, but it would be borderline. And then it ramped up to severe limits in the River Valley, but that's out of our weather rate coverage area. You know what I mean?
Yep. So verified.
So I verified not to have severe, but I know there's damage. So one night I went severe. Last night I didn't. So I don't know, but there were no warnings. So I don't know how that works.
Well, I think I think it's only for northwest Arkansas, right? So it's only for Drake Field. So the Washington, Benton, and Madison County areas. I think that's how it verify for weather rate.
That is correct. So hey, but you know what? That Spire model, chalk up a win for that. That's been showing rain and storms since last Friday.
Yeah.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
I've got screen captures for it. That did amazing.
Yeah, I know. I saw yesterday, too, on the weather live stream, you and Josh Weisel were talking about that, and it verified. It did a great job. In fact, we were on that conference call with them earlier last week. It actually was already picking up on this line of storms, while the other models were just
what I was talking about, from last Friday.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, I got to run. I'm at VBS, Vacation Bible School.
Yes, sir.
And I'm about to teach some kids about Romans 12:2.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Do not. We had to memorize the verse. Do not be transformed by the renewal of this, or by the renewal of this age. No, wait. Do not be conformed by this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, so that you may discern what is good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Romans 12:2.
You know, Dan, it's crazy how this works, because that's a verse I needed right now. That is a verse I needed right now.
Understand,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that right there.
Anyways, I know you're covering it. I've got to go. The worship rally starts at 9.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be in. Tell everyone, too, that we've got that severe weather special coming up July 11th.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Supercell to remember.
Yep, coming up in a couple of weeks.
And the 1 month anniversary of those storms. We had storms this morning. So,
yeah.
But I hate to hear that people lost had some property damage. So
yes,
keep us up to date. Thanks so much for everything, Josh. I got to run.
Absolutely, man. Have a good time at VBS, man. God bless.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was Dan right there. Dan the weatherman giving us a little guest appearance on the phone right now. What a great verse that is. I really needed that verse this morning. I'm telling you. It's funny how that works. Right when you need something, especially when it comes to something like that, you get exactly what you need in the right moment. So great stuff from Dan there. And hope Dan has a great VBS. Absolutely fantastic verse. I definitely agree with that as well, Andy. So here's the deal, guys. We're keeping an eye on this severe thunderstorm that's going on in Fort Smith. I'm going to go back to Mega Doppler here. We're going to take a look at that. There's that severe thunderstorm warning again. That will go until 9:45 a.m. So we're going to stay on until these severe thunderstorm warnings are dropped off, and we're just going to make sure everybody is alerted. And we're going to keep an eye on those WeatherBug Network cameras as well. Speaking of WeatherBug Network cameras, check out this Mount Magazine camera. We are going to have a great view of this shelf cloud, folks. I'm telling you, we're going to have a great view of this shelf cloud over this camera. You can already see it in the distance there. Yeah, the contrast not great because it's so humid outside. That's all that mugginess and all that haze caused by that humidity. I'm telling you, once that gets a little bit closer to us, you're going to see an incredible view over our Mount Magazine camera. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on that this morning. Keeping an eye on Mega Doppler right now. It looks like these storms are becoming a little bit more disorganized, also a little bit more cellular as well. What I mean by that is we got kind of a broken line of storms that's starting to take shape here. So that's a good sign because that typically means we transition away from a destructive wind event. And we see scattered areas of damaging winds, maybe some small hail as well. But hopefully that trend continues and this line kind of becomes a little bit more disorganized as it moves off to the south and east, which is why that destructive and considerable tag was taken away from those thunderstorms. Absolutely, Susan. I 100% agree. Thank you so much, Crystal, for those kind words as well. I really appreciate you hopping on the weather live stream early this morning and asking some questions. And we're always here for you guys. We're always going to be here for you guys anytime there's thunderstorms. What's going on, Ryan? Absolutely. Let's rock and roll. Is it Baja Blast time? I'm thinking after I'm done with this, I might head on over to Taco Bell and grab me a Baja Blast or two because I'm just craving it right now, guys. I don't know what it is. I get those cravings, especially when we have thunderstorms that move through. When it's like this during the morning hours and you just keep going and going and going, the Baja Blast cravings just go all the way up. I always crave a Baja Blast, but it's sky high when we have thunderstorms that are moving through. So I think it's Baja Blast time after we get done with this weather live stream. I'm craving that. Maybe a bean burrito or two. When I go storm chasing, I don't always intercept storms, but I always intercept a bean burrito when I go storm chasing. So shout out Reed Timmer on that one right there. Susan, good question right here. Will we get more rain this afternoon? Baja Blast time. First of all, agree right there. Second of all, will we get more rain this afternoon? There is a slight chance for an isolated storm or two this afternoon, Susan. That's why we're holding on to a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms. But in terms of widespread rain and stuff like that, not anticipating that at this time for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So just keep an eye on the radar. Don't cancel those outdoor activities and drink plenty of water. I was out on the golf course yesterday at 4:30 with my brother Joseph. Oh my goodness, it was hot. It was hot. That is for sure. I'm sure Scoff appreciates your bean burrito cravings. Yeah, right. Well, look, I won't get into too many details here, but when we were going storm chasing out in Oklahoma on the way back from our storm chase that Dan and I had, yeah, the car was a hazard. You had to put your hazmat suit on if you were in that car. That's for sure. And I'll just leave it at that. Amber, on a serious note, right, that is definitely something I agree with right there too. It has been really nice to not have some severe weather over the last several weeks. We needed that. We needed that for the cleanup crew. And, just keep these folks in your prayers that were impacted by these storms. The cleanup efforts are still going on. It's going to take still several weeks until we completely clean up here in Northwest Arkansas. And again, July 11th, we're going to have that special airing on all of our stations. So KNWA, KXNW, Fox 24 at 6 o'clock p.m. That's going to replace a newscast, an hour-long special, one supercell to remember. Mark that down in your calendars. You do not want to miss that. We're remembering these thunderstorms. We're going to take you back through when those storms were moving through our area, the coverage that we had, the scenes that we saw immediately after those storms moved through, the recovery process, and also ways that you can continue to help as well. You don't want to miss that special again, July 11th, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m., KNWA, Fox 24, KXNW going to be on all of our stations. You don't want to miss it. One supercell to remember. That's going to be our special on those thunderstorms that moved through Northwest Arkansas on May 26th. And again, it's not going to be something that I forget. I'm telling you right now that Decatur storm, I was talking about this morning, that image of the anticyclonic tornado when those power flashes were happening, when I saw that tornado on Highway 59, still engraved in my mind. I don't think it's ever going to leave my mind. Just a haunting scene there with that EF2 tornado that was on the south side of Decatur. Of course, the 9th widest tornado in United States history on the northwest side of Decatur, 1.9 miles wide. What a storm that was. I mean, just an unbelievable thunderstorm, something we will never forget here in Northwest Arkansas. Let's see here. But man, the comments, you guys are cracking me up. You guys always crack me up. This is just hilarious. Baja Blast, they are the best to win. They are the best. What's the wind in Fort Smith? Jess? So it looks like the winds are probably dying down at Fort Smith because the leading edge of the line is out of your area. And sure enough, you could see that right there. We were seeing those horizontal rain curtains just a few moments ago. Now those storms are starting to die down in Fort Smith. But again, severe thunderstorms now knocking on the doorstep of Poteau and a little bit farther south and east towards Waldron. So if you live in Poteau, Heaton, Hartford, Waldron, you need to make sure you're staying weather aware because you are under severe thunderstorm warning and the leading edge of the line is starting to push towards your area. So just make sure you're aware of that there if you live in those locations. I'm going to show you that here on Mega Doppler real quick. You can see a severe thunderstorm warning again in effect for Poteau, Greenwood. You're starting to get some strong winds there. Hartford, Monroe along Highway 83, Poteau area along Broadway Street as well, and of course U.S. Highway 271. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Ryan. That was a frustrating chase, but it was a lot of fun chasing with Dan that day. It's very rare when both of us get time off at the same time, and then we're also able to go storm chasing, and then we're also able to get back in time to cover storms here in our weather coverage area. So it was kind of a best case scenario on that front, but we didn't see a whole lot with those storms, and it's a good thing we didn't because that day could have been really, really bad during the daytime hours. Of course, unfortunately, a little bit farther south and west towards Sulphur, they had just an absolute devastation from those tornadoes during the nighttime hours, and that one was a really bad storm that occurred there. Let's see here. No kidding, Kelly. Baja Blast. Yep. It causes a blast in more ways than one. That is for sure. Jose, we're getting slammed here in Fort Smith. Can't even work right now. So do you have damage that's going on there down in Fort Smith? Hopefully there wasn't any damage in Fort Smith. If you are getting some reports of that, let me know. We did get some of that in Northwest Arkansas earlier there, obviously. So hopefully that didn't continue into the River Valley, but I wouldn't be surprised. This line of storms is pretty nasty as it pushed through the Fort Smith area. Whitefield, Oklahoma is getting chilly. Strong winds, no power. Okay, thank you so much for that report. So it looks like those storms are out of your area now in Whitefield, Julie. But you have no power in Whitefield right now. So hopefully that can be restored soon because while it's chilly right now, it's going to get hot very quickly later on this afternoon as that heat continues to build back into Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. It's not going to be as hot as the last few days, but it's still going to be a pretty hot one this afternoon. So hopefully folks can get their power on pretty quickly. I agree with that, Susan. Keeping our fingers crossed and praying that can be returned very soon. Electricity out in Alma. Someone said they heard a big boom. Transformer must have blew. We saw that actually in Fayetteville, Stacy, on air. I didn't know what it was. And, when you're on air, especially when you have a quick report that you're giving, you don't want to just jump to conclusions and say, this is a power flash. This is a lightning strike, right? So I said that something's going on here that's very suspicious in Fayetteville. And sure enough, that was a power flash that got confirmed by multiple folks on social media. So again, we did have some power flashes and some transformers that got blown out in Fayetteville. It looks like that continued in the Alma area as well. Just had some very strong winds near Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma. So, JP, thank you so much for that report. And yeah, leading edge of the line moving through right there. Driving around 40 miles per hour on the freeway. Yep, going to be some big-time slowdowns. Speaking of which, we need to keep an eye on that traffic situation. I'm going to get to that in just a minute because I want to make sure there's no other accidents to report right now that are causing major slowdowns. Let's see here. When that line moved through Ozark, it looked like it was raining leaves on Interstate 40, mile marker 37, strong winds. Yeah, there was some very strong winds that moved along Interstate 40, Logan. That is for sure. We actually saw some of those leaves over our WeatherBug Network camera, over the Fort Smith camera just a few moments ago. So definitely some strong winds that were reported there. Do you know when it's supposed to be over for Russellville? So, Ava, you're getting another little area of development right there in Russellville. I'm going to move myself out of the way so you can see that. But again, these storms are below severe limits in Russellville and a little bit farther east. So, Clarksville, Paris, you don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings. You do have some gusty winds. You do have some very heavy rainfall. You need to take it nice and easy if you're driving along Interstate 40. But at this time, no severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect in Russellville or in Clarksville. So again, Ava, probably within the next 45 minutes, that's when the severe weather potential is going to drop off there in Russellville. But at this time, no severe thunderstorm warnings. And really nothing to be concerned about in the Russellville area, in my opinion, in terms of severe weather potential. But I'll tell you what, strong winds about to move through Hartford. And some areas of the line that we're watching very closely right now. I don't want to completely discount things going on southwest of Poda right now because there's a little bit of a nub showing up there northwest of Worcester. Nothing major, nothing that's too concerning at this time, but we do need to keep an eye on sometimes these little areas that can sometimes show up, especially on the far western side of these storms. We lost power for about 1 hour west of Bentonville. Okay, Mary, thank you for that report. And yeah, there was some power outages in Benton County earlier as well. So we were watching that. Is your power still out there, Mary, in Bentonville? I'm about to take a look at the latest power outage situation, but before I look at the power outage situation, I'm going to keep my eye on this storm that's located southwest of Poda right now. We do need to keep an eye on that. Again, nothing threatening, nothing that's imminent in terms of anything significant there, but just a little area of interest that's going on there northwest of Monroe. And it has ramped up over the last several scans. You can kind of see that kind of bowing out of the line. When the line bows out like that, that's what we call a nudger for QLCS spin-ups. And, you have to have multiple nudgers. You have to have multiple kind of indications that show up there for QLCS tornado potential to actually be realized. But when you have like a nudger like that, it is something that you have to keep an eye on. So we're going to watch this very closely as that storm moves through LaFleur County right now. Again, that's just southeast of Podo near the Worcester area. And Mary says that power has been restored again. So Mary, thank you so much for letting me know about that. Very happy to hear that power has been restored in Bentonville. And we're going to look at the power outage situation. I want to give this one more scan here. So we're going to get a scan in just a few moments. But I don't want to keep again, when it comes to QLCS spin-ups, folks, you have to watch it like a hawk. And so we're going to watch this. We're going to give it one more scan. If it falls apart, we're going to look at the power outage situation, which it probably will. But just something to keep an eye on right now. So, again, just very broad, very disorganized area right there. Very weak rotation with that storm that's going on right now near Worcester. But that line is bowing out right now. So that's always a sign when you get the line that's bowing out like that sometimes you can get these little nudgers and these little spin-ups there. All right. Let's go back to the comments here. Rhonda, is Madison County done with bad weather? Yes. Yes. Madison County's done. Northwest Arkansas's done. Fort Smith, you're done. Sallisaw, you're done. Ozark, you're done. If you're north of Sallisaw, Fort Smith, Ozark, it's over in terms of severe weather potential. Now, there's still some rain that's obviously moving through NWA at this time. That's caused some problems in terms of traffic, but things are on the up and up right now for Northwest Arkansas. So that's a good sign right there. All right, let's go ahead and look at that power outage situation because I promised to look at that. And I just want to make sure the situation is not too out of control. And yeah, the power outages have bumped up quite a bit. So we're going to get on that right now. So give me just a few seconds here. Here's the poweroutage.us. Notice we got some darker colors starting to show up in the River Valley now. So 3,793 still without power in Washington County as of 9:01 a.m. That's quite a few without power, right? So it looks like some transformers did get blown out in Fayetteville, and that's why we're dealing with so many power outages. But look at this, OG&E, almost every single customer without power now. 441 without power there. 215 without power from Ozark Electric Cooperative, and 3,137 without power in Washington County from Southwestern Electric Power Company. So that's concerning right there. It looks like, we saw that report of that transformer that was blown out. I wonder if that was OG&E involved right there, because almost every single customer was out power. So 441 out of 442 without power there in Washington County. Benton County situation continues to improve. 77 without power from Carroll Electric Cooperative. 64 without power from Southwestern Electric Power Company. Jog a little bit farther south and east. Looks like 133 without power in Johnson County. 126 in Newton County. 38 in Madison County, but Crawford County now has a significant amount of power outages. OG&E, 1,210 without power there. So that's quite a few power outages going on in Crawford County from OG&E. 805 without power from Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative there in Crawford County. So about 6.5% of the county is without power there in Crawford County. And, of course, Sebastian County is starting to get some reports of power outages, again, from OG&E. 2,270 without power there, and 7 without power from Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative. So that's a big uptick right there in terms of the power outage situation for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that as we go throughout the rest of the morning hours. All right, trees all over the road in Russellville. On phone with friend. RT40, I'm assuming that's Route 40 in Russellville. So Michael, thank you so much for the report there in Russellville. So man, looks like there was some tree damage in Russellville. Again, these storms weren't all that significant as they moved through Russellville, but hold on, folks. Looks like we just got an update to that severe thunderstorm warning. Need to talk about this. So that severe thunderstorm warning has been upgraded to include a considerable tag now for portions of LaFleur and Sebastian counties. So that was just now updated from the National Weather Service office. Severe thunderstorm warning moving off to the southeast at 35 miles per hour, capable of producing 70 mile per hour wind gusts. So we need to do a storm track on this. We need to look at this because this storm has strengthened quite a bit. Any tornado possible tag attached to that storm? I just want to make sure, because I did see that line's just kind of bowing out right now. And that's always a signal that sometimes these storms are intensifying. So, yeah, some pretty intense winds going on right now north of Huebner. Now, nothing that looks tornadic, but still something to keep an eye on right there as that storm continues to intensify just off to the north and west of Huebner. So, let's look at that severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to go to Weather 1 here. We're going to get a storm track on this. So, here's Weather 1. Here's that severe thunderstorm warning again. Just now issued from the National Weather Service office. We have that considerable tag attached to it for 70 mile per hour winds. That includes the LaFleur and Sebastian counties in our weather coverage area. That goes until 9:45 a.m. Again, that considerable tag is for 70 mile per hour wind gust. So that storm is moving off to the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. We're going to do a storm track. We're going to move this warning out of the way here. I'm going to kind of zoom out just a little bit. We're going to make this into a line and adjust that at 35 miles per hour. We're going to take the leading edge of that line and push it off to the south and east. So if you live in locations like West Hartford, it's right on your doorstep. It's about to get intense in the West Hartford area. Heavener, 9:31 a.m. Just mentioned the Heavener area. In about 5 to 10 minutes, things are going to be getting nasty there in Heavener. Big Cedar at 10:02 a.m. So within the next 30 to 45 minutes or so, Big Cedar needs to be keeping an eye on the storm a little bit downstream as that severe thunderstorm warning continues. Of course, we also got Acorn at 10:12 a.m. and Mina, which is just outside of our weather coverage area, at 10:18 a.m. So those are the locations that we're looking at right now for that severe thunderstorm warning. You know what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to make another storm track. What we're going to do here is we're going to get even more local. We're going to zoom in really close, and we're going to get some smaller towns as well, because I know a lot of folks watch in some smaller towns in our weather coverage area. So we're going to take the leading edge of that line right there, move it through our weather coverage area. Uh-oh. Might have messed that up just a little bit. Oh, well, looks fine. 9:23 a.m. in Howe, 9:30 a.m. in Summerfield. Again, just mentioned Heavener at 9:36 a.m., Anderson at 9:44, Waldron at 9:47 a.m., and Parks at 10:05 a.m. And speaking of Waldron, I need to do this right now. We need to go back to the Mount Magazine camera. Let's take a look at it. Oh, dang it. Well, looks like it's cloudy and rainy over the Mount Magazine camera, so just missed getting a shot of that. That's unfortunate. Well, dang it. Oh, well. So we're not going to be able to see that storm and the leading edge of it right now, unfortunately. So that's kind of a bummer in the summer. I was really hoping that we could see, that the shelf cloud feature and everything. But looks like that storm is moving through our Mount Magazine camera, so we won't be able to see it this time. I'm going to go to Weather 3 here. I'm interested to see if maybe I could pull up another camera or something like that has a view of this, but I just don't think that's going to be the case. So stand by for just 1 second. Alma's not going to show it because it's off to the south and east. I really, really wish we had that camera down there. Oh, yeah. I forgot. We've got Waldron. Hold on just a second, folks. You're about to get a great view of the shelf cloud feature in just a minute. I'm going to pull this up right now. Stand by. We're good. We've saved it. I'm going to pull up this Waldron camera. Give me just a second. But you're going to be able to see the storm. So I'm so happy we've got this Waldron camera. I almost forgot we have it. But this Waldron camera is amazing, and you guys are going to love it. So let me pull it up. Oh, come on. Hold on just a second. Move this out of the way. Waldron camera. We have a couple technical difficulties right now, so just stand by. We're going to pull it up here, but you guys got to see this Waldron camera. Look at that picture. Look how clear it is, too. And the contrast is not great right now because the storm is very far away and because we're very humid. But we need to get recording started on this camera. I think we're already starting the recording, so we're good. But, man, look at that shelf cloud feature right now. That's a beautiful scene over the Waldron camera. So if you're in Waldron, you need to be getting ready. That thunderstorm is knocking on your doorstep right now. It's going to be moving through within the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, and we're going to watch it too. Waldron is a little bit farther east from the most intense part of the thunderstorm, but still something to keep an eye on there as we go throughout the rest of this live stream. All right, we got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's take a look at that right now. We're an hour into this live stream, and we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that was just now issued, and it looks like it was a continuation of the one that's ongoing right now. So let's go to that severe thunderstorm warning real quick. I'm going to go back to that Waldron camera, I promise. We're not going to miss that. But we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. You can see that right now. It does include the Big Cedar area. Going to take out those outlines. There it is. You can see it flashing on your screen right now. So that severe thunderstorm warning does not have a considerable tag attached to it, but it does have 60-mile-per-hour winds. It does include LaFleur County. And, man, that goes until 10:30 a.m., so an hour from now. So it looks like they just issued a downstream severe thunderstorm warning from the National Weather Service office in Tulsa. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Right now, Big Cedar, Southern LaFleur County, you're in the clear. But if you're in Heavener or Waldron, get ready because things are about to get a little bit loud in those locations. Let's go back to this Waldron camera because, I mean, it's just incredible. It's just an amazing camera. I'm so happy that we've got this now south of Fort Smith and south of Mount Magazine as well, because Mount Magazine's great. But as you just saw, when we get these thunderstorms that roll through, because it's so high up in elevation, you really can't see these kind of features right here. So beautiful, beautiful scene right there. If you got any questions, folks, let me know. We've got a lot of people on here this morning. So thank you guys so much for joining in on the weather live stream this morning and giving us all those reports of that damage and stuff like that. Again, hopefully everybody's okay there in Berryville. Alex, if you're still on this stream, just let me know if everybody's okay there. I just want to make sure with that tree falling on your house and everything. And if there's any more damage, let me know as well. Still want to kind of assess that damage as well and just take a look at it. I'm just kind of curious because that storm was kind of bowing out. There wasn't any indications that it was really rotating or anything, but still a storm that's caused some damage over our area. We had some reports of some poles that were down in Pea Ridge as well. A lot of power outages as well. We're keeping a close eye on that. We'll get another update on that within the next 15 minutes or so. I'm going to let poweroutage.us update. But Ryan, you're right. This storm is a doozy right now. And again, there is that severe thunderstorm warning with that considerable tag attached to it right now. Located over LaFleur and Crawford, Sebastian County. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, but that will be expiring within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. There's that continuation of that severe thunderstorm warning for Southern LaFleur County. That goes until 10:30 a.m. So this storm has slowed down quite a bit, moving off to the southeast at 35 miles per hour. So we've got the man of the hour over here to my right, Peyton Langford.
Oh, great.
He's right over here. You can see him right there.
Good morning, everybody.
The Langford effect. Now, Peyton.
No, we're not. No.
Look.
No.
Have you recovered?
No.
Have you recovered? He's out. He's out. He's gone.
That's the last thing I wanted.
He's gone. He's gone. Well, look, it's a tough day in Aggieland right now. It's a tough day in Aggieland. And Ryan said Peyton Manning is here.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. Peyton Manning in the house right now.
Minus the big forehead.
Minus big forehead and minus the orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there as well. We're not going to talk about the elephant in the room right now. As Peyton, as you guys know, big Texas A&M guy, and some sad news out of Aggieland yesterday. That's for sure. You know what? I just got to say this. Can you believe this? There was a report that said that he had already taken the job after the Georgia series. Isn't that crazy?
I saw that this morning.
Yeah, that's unbelievable right there.
Sorry, Peyton.
Yeah, Alyssa. Sorry, Peyton.
Yeah.
That's tough right there for Texas A&M. But
Aggie mantra is we don't tolerate those who lie, cheat, or steal, and don't tolerate liars.
There you go.
Goodbye and good riddance.
Goodbye and good riddance from Aggieland right there. Man, it's crazy. That's just insane. That's just an unbelievable story. And if the Texas A&M rivalry wasn't already hot enough, it's going to be boiling next year.
You
this
bet.
upcoming season.
When Texas comes here to Fayetteville.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Can you believe they made that?
Sloss isn't ready for what I'm gonna yell at him.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. Peyton's ready to rock and roll right now. I love this right now. We got some fire right now in studio. I will say this.
Man, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's just an amazing camera.
You get the melon in the background too.
Yes. I mean, and you can see the shelf cloud as it rolls in. Now, here's one thing that I noticed, and now you're starting to see the contrast improve. But even with this camera, Peyton, you could see the humidity and the mugginess really impacting the contrast of the shelf cloud feature.
Really?
Because when it was a little bit, farther along in the distance, you couldn't really see a lot of features. It kind of didn't look that threatening. But as it gets closer, now you can see that shelf cloud rolling in. You can see those darker skies. So definitely a beautiful scene right there. And you can see where those strong winds are as well. Again, the farther west you are along this line, the more intense this thunderstorm is. So this camera is obviously over Waldron. Waldron probably going to experience some strong winds within the next 10 to 15 minutes. But if you're in Heavener or a little bit farther south and east towards Page and Big Cedar, probably going to see stronger winds than what Waldron's going to experience just because that line is a little bit more intense on the western edge right now. But There was a couple areas of interest earlier, Peyton, that I was watching on the storm. Again, this is just what happens.
I was about to say, what's cool about this system
Whoops.
being during the morning time is you can actually see that it's a pretty balanced line.
Yeah, you can definitely see that right now. We kind of anticipated that to be the case. By the way, Spire did a great job. The model did a great job with the evolution of the system.
Okay.
HRRR, graph 3 kilometer, garbage,
Out to
trash, terrible. Wasn't even in the same stratosphere. But for Spire, big W with them. So they took the dub this morning right there.
Good.
So good sign right there for the future.
You know who also took a dub yesterday morning? Because yesterday morning we had data dissemination issues with the National Weather Service. So HRRR couldn't use it at all. So use the graph, trash. But I also showed the European, and it was actually pretty decent.
You know what? I'm not surprised. European does actually a pretty good job.
I mean, of course, it doesn't have the higher reflectivity. It's
right.
green, but
it does
pretty good.
I think it does a good job with MCDs. I really do. I think it does do a good job with those, especially during the summertime. But oh my goodness, dude, look at this. Look at that. Got a little bit of a pole in the way, but man, look at those features, man. Fantastic view. I'm so glad we got the Waldron camera. I was just now mentioning this. The Mount Magazine camera is great, but because it's so high up in elevation, when that storm moves in, you can't see anything at all. It's just trash. It's just clouds and rain and garbage. But now that we got this Waldron camera, we can actually see some of these storms in southern portions of the river valley. And this is typically a hot spot for severe weather. So really glad that we've got that right now. It's a great camera. It's a great camera, that is for sure. But no severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Waldron yet. But that may change within the next few moments, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Of course, this considerable tag with that severe thunderstorm warning, that's going to be expiring within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. So looks like that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 9:45 a.m. So that does include LaFleur County and far western portions of Scott County, as well as Sebastian County.
So dip in the meeting or state of the station, whichever.
Oh yeah, we got a state. Yeah, we got a state of the station going on right now. So we moved that. Yeah, do what?
Redevelopment later on.
Say it again.
Redevelopment later on.
Slight chance, 20%. Not going to be widespread. Nothing like what we saw this morning, that's for sure. So Peyton's going to a meeting right now, but we're keeping an eye on the storm, and I'm not going to move from this camera. I mean, look, it's one thing to show the radar, right, and talk about that, but it's another thing to see what's actually going on. And I mean, this is just unbelievable. Beautiful structure on this storm right now. And again, it looks threatening for, I know a lot of folks may look at that and say, okay, is there a tornado? Is there something going on there? No, there's not, but there is some very strong winds. And so you need to be aware of that. We know that strong winds can cause just as much damage as a tornado, and that's going to be pushing into portions of southern LaFleur County within the next few moments or so. I also got some good news to report. We're going to take a quick look at this on Mega Doppler, and then we're going to get back to that wonderful camera. But that considerable tag has been dropped off for that severe thunderstorm warning in LaFleur and Sebastian County. So looks like the storm's weakened just a little bit. So the National Weather Service office has dropped that off. But it does look like the severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for LaFleur and Sebastian County until 9:45 a.m. And then an additional severe thunderstorm warning for southern LaFleur County that goes until 10:30 a.m. Ann is asking, where is this? And this is located in Waldron. And this storm is about 3 miles away from Waldron. So we're about to see some stronger winds and some intense lightning and some intense rain. But in terms of tornado potential, that is not going to be the case with the storm. Kind of surprised we haven't seen any cloud ground lightning strikes because the radar is saying there's a lot of lightning, but I haven't seen any lightning strikes. Of course, because the contrast is so bad with all that humidity, it is quite tough to see. But man, what a view right there. I'm going to kind of move this camera just a little bit here. Let's just look at that. Look at that. Beautiful structure right there with that storm. And look how quickly it's moving too as it moves off to the south. That storm is booking it now at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So we're about to see some strong winds in Waldron and quite a bit of heavy rainfall as well. I'm going to move it back this way here. Kind of see some of those other features that are going on. Look at that. That's an impressive shell cloud, folks, but you can also kind of see on this camera. Here's something interesting, too. You remember how I told you a little bit farther west, this storm is a little bit stronger. So we're facing more east right now. And notice how this shelf cloud kind of looks a little bit more disorganized right now. But if I shift this camera back to the west, notice how that shelf cloud looks a little bit more threatening. And that's because this storm is a little bit stronger the farther west you go. So it's a lot more organized in these locations. So you can see those features right there, those kind of popcorn features. This right here is a sign that we've got a particularly intense thunderstorm that's producing strong winds. And look at those rain curtains that are rolling in right now. These are going to be ramping up in just a few moments. So about to get windy and about to get rainy in Waldron. That is for sure. So I'm going to keep it away from this pole. I'm going to make it face this way here. And we're just going to watch this baby as it rolls in right now. Actually, you know what? I want it to face this way. I keep changing my mind, I know, but I actually want to get as much of a view as we can of this popcorn feature, and also maybe see some horizontal rain curtains and maybe some of those trees rustling in the wind as they push through. All righty, let's see here. Looking through the comments, didn't see any other comments here. I see "Go Dogs" from Shannon. And look, again, I got to be honest. I feel bad for Peyton, and I feel bad for Texas A&M because that's just tough to have that happen to you with the coach and everything. But as a big A&M hater, I'm also kind of just like a little bit happy at the same time. I don't know. I've never really been a big A&M fan, but you can't blame me because I've lived in Arkansas my whole life, and so Texas A&M is like one of our biggest rivals. So I've never been a big Aggie guy, but I do kind of feel bad for all the Aggies out there right now. That's tough to have the coach do that to you. Let's see here. Is it over for Ozark? Mike, it is over for Ozark. You are all good. You're in the clear. Just plain old rain lingering, and then maybe some additional thunderstorms later on this afternoon, but at this time, I'm not anticipating a whole lot of additional development. About a 20% chance of rain. Got a report of half-inch hail in Pea Ridge from Stephanie. Stephanie, let me know if I said your name right. Did I say it right the first time or the second time? Is it Stephanie or Stephanie? I always want to make sure I'm getting our viewers' names right. So let me know because I want to make sure I get your name right in the future as well. Let's see here. I don't see any other questions. So if you guys have any other comments, I'll be more than happy to answer them. But as of now, we're just going to keep an eye on this camera and let that storm roll through our Waldron camera. And we'll probably drop off this coverage within the next 30 to 45 minutes, I think, once these storms start to wind down just a little bit more. But right now, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for LaFleur County, in effect for western portions of Sebastian County as well. Scott County not included in that severe thunderstorm warning. Johnson, Logan counties also not included at this time. So as of now, these storms are just kind of weakening just a little bit. Carolyn, you are in the clear in Van Buren. All good in Van Buren. No more severe weather to attend to. The storms are southeast of you. Might get a few little areas of thunder. Excuse me. Might get a few little areas of thunder, maybe some moderate rainfall, but otherwise, Van Buren, you are all good and no more severe weather potential, at least for the next 24 to 48 hours. So here it comes. You're about to see the rain pick up in just a few moments here, and we probably will see the horizontal rain curtains as well over our Waldron camera. But look at that. You can kind of see that misty look in the background right there, and that's those rain curtains that are starting to ramp up and all that wind that's starting to move towards Waldron at this time. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Carolyn. I definitely understand that, and that's why we're here. That's why we're just making sure these storms don't take off too much and keeping you safe and letting you know about the latest details. But, yeah, no more thunderstorms for Van Buren. Nothing significant there. You're good to go there, Carolyn. Hopefully that puts your mind at ease. Shannon, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, here's the deal. I always hold in the sneezes when I'm on air. So, like when I'm on TV, I've never sneezed yet. Knock on wood. I kind of have a strategy to keep that down. But when I'm on the Facebook Lives, they just seem to slip out a little bit more. I think it's just a psychology thing or whatever. My brain is just like, nope, you're sneezing right now. You're gonna sneeze when you're on our weather live stream. So hopefully that wasn't too loud into the camera and everything. But here comes the rain over the Waldron cam. As a matter of fact, we can actually line up the radar with the camera. And take a look at this. There's a look at Mega Doppler. You can see the line of storms moving in right now on Waldron. And then there's a look at the Waldron camera. Is that somebody on a motorcycle right there? Hold up. Hold on. That's a guy on a motorcycle. My guy, you better get out of there. You better run. You better run, buddy. We're following this guy right now. Dude, you need to get out of there, man. Oh, that's a bad day to be out on the bike, my guy. Oh man. That's tough. And you can see the wind and the rain picking up right now on top of that guy, too. Oh, poor guy. I feel bad for him. That's funny. Look at all that rain that's coming down, though, over the Waldron camera. So, starting to pick up quite a bit there. Wind is also rustling those trees. And you can kind of see that misty look in the background. That's all those horizontal rain curtains that are moving through at this time. I still can't believe that guy was on the bike. We were just following him through the camera right there. Hope that guy gets to safety pretty quick, because that rain is about to be a downpour right now. He's about to be in a shower. Man, that's a bad day to be on a bike, that's for sure. Yeah, Susan, the wind is pushing him forward right now. So let's go back to Mega Doppler here. Take a look at those thunderstorms again. Just kind of go back and forth here, make sure we're covering all of our bases. I'll tell you what, this storm has died down just a little bit. That's a good sign. We hope that continues, but looks like that severe thunderstorm warning is going to be allowed to expire over Poto within the next 2 minutes or so. Just one severe thunderstorm warning in southern LaFleur County. I think we can wrap this up in 5 minutes. I think this storm is starting to wind down over our weather coverage area. Again, some strong winds, certainly something that continues to be a threat, but you can see here on radar how kind of disorganized this storm is becoming. So that's a good sign, and hopefully that continues as we move throughout the rest of the morning hours. But if anybody has any more questions, let me know. Before we wrap this up, I do want to make sure we have a look at that 7-day forecast, because I know some folks may be interested. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's going to get hot again as we move throughout the rest of this week. So that's something you need to prepare for, especially on Friday. High temperatures, middle 90s, high humidity, heat advisories, excessive heat warnings. Certainly a possibility once again, but a little bit more relief coming Saturday and Sunday, and more shower and storm potential as well. So that is something to keep an eye on. Right now we have a 30% chance of showers and storms for Saturday, 40% chance of rain for Sunday. High temperatures in the upper 80s to lower 90s. So think, all right, we're good to go. Things are looking good. Temperatures are going to be a little bit more seasonal, which, by the way, our average high temperature for this time of year is 87 degrees. And man, this might be a summer to remember, folks, because I've been looking at some of the extended climate data. I think we're going to see this heat wave continue through the middle part of July. We already have gotten a head start in terms of intense heat here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. This could be a summer to remember, and maybe one that goes down in the history books if these hot and humid conditions continue. Of course, in the River Valley, going to be even hotter than Northwest Arkansas. High temperatures will be in the middle to upper 90s on your Thursday and Friday. 30 to 40% chance of rain Saturday and Sunday. Again, a little bit cooler. We'll take lower 90s. It's a lot better than the triple-digit heat we're going to see Tuesday, that's for sure. And beyond the scope of this 7-day forecast, it may get even hotter. And notice those overnight lows. This is a big indication that your dew points are high, and those overnight lows are in the middle to upper 70s. That means we've got a lot of heat and humidity that's going to be sticking around Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So more excessive heat warnings, more heat advisories likely on tap as we move throughout the rest of this week. Heat's going to be the top story for Thursday and Friday. But keep an eye on those rain chances for Saturday and Sunday as well. That could provide us with some strong storm potential here in Northwest Arkansas. All righty, guys. I think it's about time to wrap this up. I think these storms are starting to wind down just a little bit here. We've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes. I think we've covered all of our bases, but hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Again, Susan, going to go feed the birds. Those squirrels are probably going to be out there trying to get the bird feed as well. So hopefully the birds can get as much food as possible. But yeah, summer 2024 may be one to remember if this heat continues. Sometimes we can get a hot start to the summer, then things kind of wind down a little bit as we head towards July and August. But when you're already talking about triple-digit heat in the middle to latter half of June, that's a head start. And when it just continues to ramp up throughout the month of July and August, that can sometimes give you some historical heat waves across our area. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. But for now, I'm going to end it off with a special comment from the greatest teacher and the greatest softball coach in the country, Kinder Carroll. I better see you on MLB The Show later on today, my guy. It's time to play some co-op. It's time to win some games on MLB The Show. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. God bless you. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for trusting your Weather Authority team.